Welcome to WKRP Montrose, a radio station masquerading as a podcast about Montrose, Colorado and the Western Slope, recording live from the Clear Network studio in downtown Montrose, Colorado. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of WKRP Montrose. A little bit different setup. You can see a new intro we got with our sponsors.
It's fancy.
It's fancy.
Yeah.
It does have that, we kept the kind of the montage to the age of the film there. It looks a little dated.
Yeah.
It feels like from my generation.
Yeah. You're old. No, but I like it.
You're welcome. I set you up for that. Just to
I'll
let you have a good start this morning.
Yeah. I like it. And it's, I mean, it has more of a presence now from Clear Networks, who are our studio sponsors. So I think they are happy with that, presumably.
I would hope so.
Yeah. And it's good to...
We love you, Clear Networks.
We really do.
Thank you very much for...
We wouldn't be able to do this with... Well, we would do it without you. It just wouldn't be as good. I mean, I'm not going to lie.
You're not going to lie?
We would be able to do it without... We did do it without them for a while.
Well, that's true.
But it's better
And they make it better.
They make it better.
Okay, there we go. You know what's not better?
The weather?
Yeah. Oh. It sucks.
It's April Fool's Day, and nature is playing a joke on us.
I'm mad at you for not letting us do an April Fool's live stream.
I didn't say we couldn't do anything.
Okay, so maybe we'll have done one.
Yeah.
By the time people see this,
maybe. Probably.
Ooh,
probably
interesting.
Not. That's the joke. Is that we're going to do something extra. Jokes on you, suckers.
We never do anything extra.
No.
We do have some cool people coming up, including two people that are on the Wheelie Nice couch right now.
Yeah.
Two guests.
Two
guests
living things
that are on the Wheelie Nice couch. Mm-hmm. Do you want to introduce them?
I would love to.
Okay.
We have Aleisha and Charlie.
Hello.
Hello, Aleisha.
Charlie doesn't say hello. Well, in the traditional sense, I don't know. Does Charlie speak?
No, he doesn't do any speaking.
Charlie's mute.
We work on no barking too, so we don't even bark.
Honestly, I've tried that with Dennis too.
It didn't work. It didn't take. I don't know why.
Honestly, I've tried to have a little bag of treats in my pocket to get him to do things.
Maybe they just weren't high enough value.
That's true, I think. Because Dennis is motivated by snackies.
Yes.
I think. So.
Very much so.
Actually, counter conditioning and training works great for people. You can get them to do a lot of things. If you're like, oh, wow, that was really good. Here's a chocolate bar.
Good job, buddy. And we pat Dennis on his potato head.
Aleisha, I don't know that Rob or my wife need help figuring out how to mentally manipulate me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that difficult.
It's not that hard. So I don't think you guys need like extra methods.
No, but we're going to get some. We'll talk after this about things that might work on both people and dogs.
Sounds good.
So we'll get into that a little bit. But why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us who you are, where you're from, and why you're on the Wheelie Nice couch.
And why Charlie's getting comfortable down there.
Yeah. So I'm Aleisha Largent, and I am here representing Loyal Guardians. We are a nonprofit. Our nonprofit is a little different because we work with civilians and veterans. There are quite a few nonprofits out there, but not a lot just for civilians. So we wanted to make sure that we incorporated civilians into our nonprofit. I am based out of Delta. We are kind of based on the Western Slope. We have board members from Telluride to Grand Junction, so we are kind of spread across the Western Slope.
All right. So we'll explain to us a little bit more then about what Loyal Guardians does, what the nonprofit hopes to accomplish.
Yep. So our goal is to help people afford service dogs and help them afford training. And we also want to be able to educate the general public and businesses about service dogs. There's a lot of people who don't know what is and is not okay when it comes to service dogs. Right. So we do hold like free public events talking about what is a service dog? What questions can you ask? Because everybody gets a little like, oh my gosh, can I ask a question? Right. Can I not ask a question? What are the laws? So we deep dive into like the laws about what you can ask, what the dog should be looking like and performing. It's really, really, really hard to have a service dog in an unregulated area.
Right.
There's no real certification for service dogs.
Okay.
And there's no real documentation.
Right.
And an owner can self-train a service dog.
Okay.
I was about to ask, do you think some of the confusion is because, and I'll just say it outright, people go on Amazon and buy a little vest with a service dog.
They do.
And they do that because they have separation anxiety from their animals.
Yep, and they want to take their dog with them. But it makes it really difficult for the people who really need service dogs. I have had multiple clients have to retire their service dogs. And we're talking $20,000 to $40,000 worth of training into these dogs. That's not a small amount of money for especially a person with disabilities. Like you have a lot of medical expenses already. Right. And then you're putting all of this into a dog for somebody's dog to just run up and attack your dog. Right. And now your dog can't work in the world because it's freaking out about what's going to happen. Yeah. So we want to work with the public to just help educate because, again, a lot of people don't know and understand. But again, also offer like affordable training because again, $40,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah,
for a dog.
Well, it's a huge amount of money for something that is essential to some people.
Yep.
Right. Mm-hmm. So it's that double-edged sword of, well, I have to have this thing, or it will make my life immeasurably better, but I don't necessarily have the money to do that. It's like not being able to afford a wheelchair.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
I mean, and that would be. So if you put it in those terms, it would seem crazy to people that somebody who needed a wheelchair didn't have one.
Yep, exactly. And a lot of people don't realize service dogs are a medical piece of equipment.
That's where I wanted to get to. Like, can we clarify some of the things that you're talking about that these trained dogs can do for individuals, both former service vets and civilians, as you put it? Because this is some amazing things that I still can't get my head wrapped around. So, can we talk about like some of the medical alert capabilities of a dog, of a service dog, a properly trained service dog?
Yep. So medical alert can go lots of different directions. Cardiac, diabetes, epilepsy, seizure. There are people that have extreme allergies like gluten and things. You can have a dog that can actually go to the store and sniff out your groceries to let you know if that product has gluten in it. Because, I mean, there are some people who are so allergic, one piece anaphylactic shock, they're in the hospital. So medical alert can go a long way. Where,
I mean, that's incredible, though. I mean, it's actually...
It's insane.
It's so incredible. It's hard to believe. It's hard to understand how they can do that, how they can smell and detect things that are imperceptible to people.
Well, like the gluten or the allergies thing, I feel like makes sense. Like heightened, the heightened ability to smell. But the thing that gets me is like they can predict an epileptic seizure.
Yep. And they can let you know before your medical equipment will let you know if you're diabetic and you're about to shoot up or you're about to drop low. Your dog will tell you way before your piece of equipment ever tells you. And it's like crazy how amazing, phenomenal a dog's nose is. Because if you think about even just going into more nose things like detection dogs, the things in the world that dogs are capable of, it's just amazing what they can do with their nose.
So can you help me get my head wrapped around that? What is the dog sensing, or are they smelling like a change in pheromones, or
so? Actually, so for like a diabetic alert dog, when my clients are going high or low, we start to collect samples. And then we train them to recognize that odor. No different than, hey, if I drop this treat and tell Charlie to find it, he'll find it wherever it is in the room. We do the same with that specific odor. So we just teach them to recognize that odor.
So is it in sweat or bodily secretions?
It can be in sweat, it can be in saliva, it can be in blood samples, it can go lots of different directions.
That's great. Does it mean then
train different?
Yeah, does it mean then that if you train a dog as a diabetic alert dog, it's trained to you or to an individual, or does that mean that dog can detect it in other people with diabetes?
It's usually trained to that individual, but it has been known for dogs to alert other people, like a service dog alerts a friend that may have never known that they had an issue, and they're like, wow, my dog's alerting you. What's going on? Right. So they do still alert outside of that, but when you're working with a dog, especially a service dog, you're building this relationship and this bond where that dog should really be paying more attention to you than anyone or anything else.
Right. Then I guess, I mean, man's best friend, right?
Yep.
Is there a separation between having a service dog and a pet? Or can they be both?
They should be both, but there is a huge difference. Not every dog can be a service dog.
Right.
And not every dog is suited to a specific person's need.
Right.
You could get a dog for medical alert and their nose could suck. Like I've had that happen before. And so now that dog's out of the park because it's just not working for that dog. Charlie, I love Charlie. He was in my program, but his conformation, he's not good enough for mobility. He doesn't have the correct build for any mobility. His disposition, he doesn't have a good disposition for psychiatric. Like,
close your ears, Charlie.
I know. Sorry, Charlie. I love you.
We'll come on to the good points.
Because Charlie, I think you have a great disposition.
Yes. No, he's a really good dog. But like if his handler were to get anxious, he's going to start circling.
Okay.
Which is just, he's a poodle. Poodles have a lot of energy. And that kind of creates more anxiety than in the person.
I got to say right now, you said poodles have a lot of energy. I'm going to post a picture later of Charlie splayed out like a rug on the floor.
Yes. No, Charlie is a good, very, very good poodle, but there's still a lot of energy behind Charlie. I love you, boy.
Let's see if we can, let me see if I have, I do have it. Okay, here we go. I can get a shot of Charlie. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can do this.
Charlie's resting up.
Lots of energy now.
We'll get him up on the.
I got him. Here we go. There he is. There's Charlie. Charlie, look at. He's so cute.
Yeah, he's aware.
He knows what's up.
So, what is Charlie's specialty then?
So, medical alert is what Charlie is great at. Okay. His nose is phenomenal, and he utilizes it. We do more than just training for a specific smell. I constantly am working on building his repertoire.
Okay.
So we've even competed in nose work trials, and he has passed his odor recognition. And so we're going to advance even further with that. Now, Charlie, because he is an ambassador dog, he's a little different. He came into the program to be a service dog, but because he didn't work for psychiatric, because he didn't work for mobility, and he really only worked for medical, it kind of eliminated him from a lot of jobs, a lot of possibilities.
Right.
And so we as a board decided, like, he's a good dog. You can see he's a good dog.
Of course he's a good dog.
We were like, he would be a great ambassador dog. A dog to be able to come do these things with us and go to events. And I am a firm believer in continued education. Like, I never stop learning in whatever field I'm in. And to have a dog that I can take places to continue my education and his stuff is super, super important.
Good. You almost learned something today, actually. You almost learned that if you didn't bring Charlie, we wouldn't be doing the podcast.
Yep. It's all about you, Char.
But in all seriousness, so let's talk about then, I mean, it costs a lot of money. Is that your phone ringing?
I turned it off.
Oh. As a board, then you have. I mean, it's a new nonprofit, right? But
yes.
What's your plan? Because I mean, to raise $40,000 for a single dog, the nonprofit's going to require quite a bit of money over the coming years.
So we are working towards, of course, donations. We want to start doing fundraisers and auctions and like a lot of the things that nonprofits do. Right now, the training is essentially donated by me. So I'm doing all of the training for all of the in-person clients and all of the service dogs we have. Out of a donation, essentially.
Well, and that's not sustainable, right?
No.
We all want to be generous and support as many things as we can, but you know, you got to kind of be able to pay your bills and things first before you can give back. So,
how many applications do you have for service dogs that you're trying to fill or connect people with service animals?
So that varies. So how we usually get people in is based on dogs. We have already placed 6 dogs in the last year into service dog homes. Like I said, Charlie was he was our second puppy that we got when we started Loyal Guardians. All the other dogs had found homes, but Charlie, again, we then decided to turn him into our ambassador dog. And we're getting ready to get another bunch of puppies in and then I'll be able to start taking more applications. I cut down my applications because I didn't have dogs.
Yeah. Where are those 6? Do you say 6 dogs?
Yep.
Are they in this region?
So we have one that is here in Montrose.
Okay.
I have one in Grand Junction, and then actually the other ones are out of state. One lives in Florida half of the year, and then in Gypsum the other half of the year. He is working for a older gentleman with Parkinson's. And then we have Bravo, which was our first ever service dog. He is in Missouri. He is with a veteran, a woman, and he goes to the elementary school as a library dog every day and helps his mom feel good about being able to be out and about in the world.
Can we just touch on the Parkinson's a minute? Because I'm curious about about all of it. But what would a service dog do when it comes to Parkinson's?
Mobility.
Okay.
A lot of mobility and retrieval.
Okay.
That one is a wolfadoodle. So when you do mobility,
heard of a wolfadoodle.
So, and a lot of people go, "Oh my gosh, it's a wolf poodle." It's an Irish wolfhound poodle. They need to be called an Irish wolfadoodle to make things a little clearer. But they have a decent size, but not as big as an Irish wolfhound. And what people need for mobility is size. If the dog is not a decent sized dog, they can't be holding all your weight. That's not fair.
But also, I mean, these dogs presumably can reach up and they can get things, and you then have to, perhaps reorganize your life a little bit, right, to make it easier for the dog to get things for you.
To get items, yes. And that's not even just like with a Parkinson's, a retrieval of any form.
Right.
Even like my diabetic alert dogs, they do retrievals.
Right.
If a person's crashing, we teach them to get a medical bag. We teach them to get juice.
Amazing.
So sometimes we have to adjust a little bit. You have cupboards and you don't want to have to remove all your cupboard doors.
Right.
We're able to attach a string or a tug to that door, and we teach the dog to open the door, grab the item, close the door, bring the juice to you.
I know what Dennis is thinking. Can his deaf dog Coconut be taught to bring him treats?
Absolutely, she could. Absolutely.
So you can sit there watching football.
Well, because she's really good.
Your rubbish Steelers, and Coconut can bring you beers and snacks.
She could bring me the terrible towel, so that I could, wave it when it's time. Yeah, she could. She's good at. So we have a deaf dog, and she's good at hand commands.
Yep.
Like she understands that.
They're
obviously
really
you can't
smart.
call her. So yeah, she does great. What are you trying to? How dare you? Coconut is amazing. Why would you say that?
How dare you? I'm talking about the fact that you would love a service dog just to bring you snacks.
Well, certainly.
How
does
easy?
Churchill bring you snacks?
They don't do that. Churchill's a cat.
I actually called him the right name. I didn't mean to.
Cats don't do that.
Winston.
How quickly can? Well, I mean, okay. There's a few. I have so many questions actually. How quickly can a dog be trained to do basic stuff? Not detecting diabetes, but retrieval.
Basic stuff can be taught pretty easy and pretty fast. Where things always get complicated with dogs and people don't realize is dogs don't generalize. So just because you practiced it in this one spot doesn't mean they can do it in this other spot or they can do it in this other spot. So that's where time is a little bit longer because you have to practice generalizing that same command in lots of different locations. But like 6 months, you can have it pretty solid if you're just consistent with it.
Yeah.
Now, for like service dog training, it's like a 2-year process.
Right.
Because there's lots of things you got to be covering and going through, and it takes that much time to just practice everything.
Right.
So I want to move over to more of the emotional and mental side of it, because you train dogs for former vets that have PTSD.
Yes.
And part of that is just I don't want to assume that I know anything about it, so I'll stop there. What does that kind of training look like? Because it feels like, from the outside looking at it and reading about it, it feels like it has to be more of an emotional connection. So how do you train the dog, but also make the connection, with the service dog and the
human?
Yeah.
So again, that's where not every dog is going to be a perfect fit, and not every dog and every person are meant to be together. So that one is more of a, you try to work on the relationship and make sure the relationship is there, but you also then have to make sure you have a very mentally stable dog. Again, like Charlie, he just didn't have the stability when his handler would get anxiety.
Right.
There are dogs out there, when you have a strong handler, they're like, cool, I can do this. You get a more nervous handler, they're like, you're freaking out, I'm freaking out,
Right.
What's going on, why are we doing this? So you have to make sure, one, there's the relationship, two, you have a sound temperament and a sound mind in that dog,
Yeah.
so that dog can do the job when the person breaks down.
Right.
And then two, making sure that you have the right, or three, making sure you have the right person to have the dog. PTSD, as we know, can swing lots of different directions. And so you don't want to place a person who usually kind of goes into fits or like massive attacks with a dog, because that dog's job is supposed to go into that person. They can't differentiate, oh, this time is worse than the next time.
Right.
So again, you have to make sure you have the right person. And we don't want to be utilizing people who want a dog who's just going to keep people away from them, because you're hindering their ability to heal.
Right.
If you're giving them the equipment to keep people away.
Right.
They need the people, they need the human support. The dog is just supposed to be that bridge to help them get
Right.
there. So you got to have a lot of different pieces together to make sure it's all a correct fit. So service dog stuff can be really tricky. I have a friend, she's on her third service dog right now in like a year and a half, because it wasn't the right fit, wasn't the right fit. And what happens to people then at that point in time, especially if you have anxiety, you're like, oh, I'm not good enough.
Right.
So then it starts to make the person feel even less worthy of the dog.
Then it's a spiral, right?
Then it's a spiral. So you have to really, there's a lot of psychology between humans and dogs that goes into a lot of like the psychiatric piece. And to kind of touch base, a lot of people think like, oh, I have depression and anxiety, I need a service dog. Those don't count for service animals. Those count for emotional support animals.
Right.
Those animals do not have the same rights as a service animal. Emotional support animals have rights to housing and to be at home with you.
Right.
A service animal's job is to be with their person constantly.
Right.
So PTSD and like severe psychiatric disorders are what qualify for a service animal.
Right.
And a lot of people don't know that.
No, is that line pretty defined, or it sounds like it's going to be blurry? Like who decides, you know?
So the government decides. So it would like go to the police, and then the police would escalate it to like a trial, and so on and so forth. And then like your disability, Colorado's disability board would get involved.
Right.
And then that's how it would be decided. But it could be like a really long process in the decision, because again, it's really blurry. The rules are not clear enough, and they're not good enough. There's a lot of people in DC really pushing for a lot of things right now, so that there's actual certifications, and that there's specific trainers that actually know what they're doing, that are certified, who have like had to go to school. Because again, there's just no regulations in the world of training.
So what does that look like? How long did you have to?
How long did you been doing this?
Yeah.
Oh, holy cow! I have been training service dogs for 10 years.
Okay.
My whole training journey started when I was 12. I started 4-H. Yeah, he's dreaming.
He's dreaming. Charlie was chasing
running
something.
in his sleep. I did 4-H for Delta County, competed through until I couldn't do 4-H anymore. And that was kind of where my dog training started. Then I trained horses, and I loved training horses. But then the reality of making money training horses, you have to be like a really big name.
Yeah.
So then I moved on to the dog industry. I apprenticed in Fort Collins for 2 years, started off as a kennel technician, learned that piece, then worked all the way up to management and training. Once I left my apprenticeship, I worked at a behavioral vet office in Fort Collins. I was there for 6 years. I worked as a technician and a behavioral trainer. out of our clinic. And then I moved here back home and opened up my business, which is Covenant Keepers. And I've been training service dogs through Covenant Keepers since. And then last year decided to start Loyal Guardians.
All right.
So tell us a bit more about you as well. Like, is Montrose always been your home?
Yeah.
Or Delta?
Well,
Sorry.
Montrose, Delta, Olathe. When you grow up here, you kind of like
Bounce around a little bit.
around.
Yeah.
So I went to middle school in Olathe and elementary in Montrose and high school in Delta. So been here forever. And then moved away to get my education, to then move back and then started my business.
So that's how it goes, right? A lot of people do move away.
Yeah.
And
then,
if you're not from here, you find your way here. And if you are from here, you often find your way back.
Yep.
Because it's such a great place.
It's a great place. And honestly,
even though we get snow in April.
yes. Well, that's all of Colorado.
Yeah. But it's a great place to live, right? I'm going to come back to some other stuff in a minute, but let's just touch on you a little bit.
you have a big crew at home.
Yes.
Right?
Oh my gosh, yes. I have a big crew at home.
Like there's both with 2 legs and 4 legs.
Yes. So I have...
So how many legs in total do you have at home?
I have 3 daughters. They are 18, 16, and 14. And then I have 15 of my own dogs. Everybody always asks that question, and I'm like, yeah, I have 15.
Wow.
I'm not looking shocked because, somebody did his homework, but
You are an incredible, crazy dog woman.
Yeah, I am definitely. And my children
And
are
3
like...
teenagers.
And
I don't have kids. We've discussed this before. Dennis has a daughter.
I do have a daughter.
Can you speak to the fact that you have 1 daughter? How
Yes.
would you feel if you had 3?
I would feel blessed first if I had 3.
Let's get to the funny stuff.
But yeah, 3
sounds
3
horrific.
daughters that are all teenagers.
it's a great time.
That would be a lot.
Do you just come home sometimes and there's 3 kids, 15 dogs? I mean, sounds like a madhouse.
Well, we have more than that, too. So I have ducks, and I have geese, and I have turkeys, and quail, and chickens, and cats.
Goldfish?
No, we don't have fish.
Let's give some perspective to it though. It's not like you're squeezing all of these in the typical 3-bedroom, 2-bath.
No, I have property.
quarter acre.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
And
still.
because you do kenneling as well, right?
Yes.
With Covenant Keepers.
Yep. So I have a facility that is where the dogs and my livestock preside, and then I have a homestead with my family. So we have property.
It sounds
When,
like Little
when you
House
say
on the
homestead,
Prairie.
does that mean like grandma and grandpa are around, or?
So we are in our original family house that's been in our family for over 100 years.
Oh wow.
And it's the same house that's been sitting there for the whole time. Grandma and grandpa aren't around. Well, my grandpa lives in Texas. My grandma is not here anymore. Great grandparents are passed. But we're like the traditional...
That's you again.
It was me, but I have it turned off, so I don't know what just happened.
Sorry,
Go
we
ahead.
just got rudely interrupted by
yeah.
Dennis's phone again.
But we have like the traditional family. We get together once a month with all of our extended family. That could mean we have 10 people over for Sunday family lunch, or we have 50 people over.
Right.
So that's kind of our homestead. My brother is a gardener. He has the green thumb. He does the greenery. I raise the animals because I'm good with animals. And so
you
it's
got
like farm to table.
Yeah, plenty of eggs then.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And I just bought 50 chickens.
50 chickens.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Where does it end? Where does it end with you?
Well, no,
What's next?
you want the 50 chickens right about now because I'm assuming they're all egg-laying chickens.
No. Only like 15 of them are egg
Okay, well,
layers. The
enough
rest
of
are
them.
meat birds.
Okay.
They go to freezer camp.
Okay.
What a way to put it.
Hey, you can tell she's got kids, and you can tell she's got girls that would have been younger at some point, and freezer camp is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
My kids have a hard time with it, so
I
they're
bet.
just like...
Because they're in 4-H too, right?
Yep.
They do. They've followed a little bit in mom's footsteps.
Yes, and another fun fact, I am the Delta 4-H dog program leader too. So
What does that mean for 4-H?
kids get to come and learn how to train their dog for free and compete.
For farming purposes?
No. So
Okay.
it's actually like obedience,
Right,
agility, rally, showmanship.
Okay.
So all of the things that are kind of the main competitive sports in the dog world.
Right.
Kids get to come and learn about that through the program, learn how to like take care of your dog and all those things, meeting their emotional and physical needs. And then at the end of our 4-H year at fair, just like every other kid, we
Right.
go and we compete. And
Well,
then
So I remember a few years ago, I was at the Montrose County Fair, and whilst it's impressive to see dogs, super obedient and being able to do these things, nothing is as good as a dog that has no clue what it's doing. I think somebody took like a lab or a golden retriever once. It did not give one.
Well, this is
It
okay.
didn't care at all, and it ran around. And I have never laughed so hard in my life.
This is a good segue for the because I wanted to get to this. You teach dock jumping too.
Yeah.
And I so badly want to bring a dock jumping event
Yep.
to Montrose
Dennis
or
went
to the region.
What, last year? You
Yeah, went to the-
GoPro games, and it just looks super fun.
So we do have a dock event annually in Grand Junction.
That
Yeah, but
doesn't
see, Grand
that
Junction's
doesn't-
not
yeah,
Montrose.
That
I know.
doesn't sound like a we have an event. that
That's-
sounds like they have an event.
I know, it's part of Grand Junction. It's really, I'll tell you, like the dog community and world, it's hard. So trying to get fun events, like I've tried to do lots of really fun events that I was like, yeah, this is gonna be awesome. And then like 2 people show up. You're
Right.
like, well, that was awesome.
How many
Yeah.
people? How many? Because there's a ton of dogs that show up for the GoPro games in Vail. How many dogs show up for the Grand Junction event? Not that many.
Maybe 30 to 50.
Okay, that's
That's
not
still
too bad.
that's still a lot.
That's a day's worth of dog
You-
jumping.
But
Yeah.
but when you go to so this is the GoPro games. They have performance anxiety as well. Like Charlie obviously does not have performance anxiety. He's as comfortable as can be. But like to your point, you get dogs that they're expecting to jump, and they go up to the edge, and they're like, "No, I'm not going to do it."
Nope, not today.
I think Dennis and I have talked about how fun it would be to have that in Montrose. We could do something in like Cerise Park. We have plenty of open space to do something like that. Maybe this is an idea we should think about.
It needs to come back around.
along with all the other ideas, the stupid ideas we have.
But we have
Wow,
to. But
I
to,
would be very interested in helping put it on because
seems like that'd be a good fundraiser.
it would be a great fundraiser, definitely. It would be a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much fun is it? A lot of
Yeah.
people think their dogs will just jump. Sometimes you got to get them used to the water.
Oh no.
then they
You
jump.
gotta. There's performance. Like I said, there's performance anxiety. Like if they're
And
either,
if they don't jump, they don't jump. It's who cares?
which is also funny.
Yeah, funny.
It's funny to watch the people who are like, "Oh my gosh, you just embarrassed me."
Yeah.
I'm one
Yeah.
of those people who do that too.
I'd like
so.
to introduce an extra event though, if we did something like that.
What's that?
Where the owners also have to jump and try and like grab the
That would be amazing.
That would-
with their
be
teeth.
fun.
I'd love to see you doing that.
Yeah, you get bonus points, right?
Yeah.
You
Dude, I
yeah.
can. Don't let the exterior fool you. I can. Well, that's not true anymore. I feel like maybe you could slide a piece of paper underneath there if I jump. But I used to be able to jump.
White men can't jump.
White men can jump.
You get the reference.
I know. Okay. Bad joke.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun.
All right. They remade that movie too.
They did.
I refuse to watch it.
Why?
Cannot surpass the original.
That's true.
Impossible.
They
Are
do that to a lot of movies.
Yeah,
Is
they
it?
do.
Are sequels a thing in your world? Does it matter lineage? Like are service dogs that have been service dogs
Yeah.
that have service
That
dogs?
was smooth.
Typically-
movies
Yeah.
to dog.
Hey,
Dogs.
hey, you should be impressed. That was a pretty good segue. You got to admit.
It was.
Oh.
Yes. But again, just because you have 2 genius parents doesn't mean all your offspring are going to be genius.
I mean,
The
Rob's
likelihood-
that example.
The likelihood is higher, definitely.
Right.
But again, it's a lot of temperament. Finding breeders who know what they're talking about is very important.
Right.
Because, and I don't want to bash anybody or be mean to anybody, but there's a lot of people who think they can just go to the shelter and rescue a puppy.
Right.
More times than not, you're probably going to end up failing with that dog just because there's usually a lot of emotional baggage that comes with
Right.
shelter life.
Well, I did.
and-
I mean,
See, I
was
love-
going to go down that way with you anyway, so I'm glad you brought that up. But difficult, yes. Impossible, no.
Nope.
Right? But I guess the question would be, you know, how do you recognize, if you were to go to not only a shelter, but a breeder or just in the community, is there a way for you, are there some simple things you can do to identify a dog that, oh, that one's smart, it gets it, this one doesn't?
Yep. So there is actually a test called the puppy aptitude test. It's given at 7 weeks of age, and that pretty much tells you what the temperament and how intelligent your dog is going to be.
Can you do the puppy aptitude test with Dennis now?
Oh, I mean, I think he's a little past 7.
Yeah, I think.
Look, he's got it.
Look, yeah, I think I passed the. You're missing the point. I'm not a puppy anymore.
Oh no, you are not, sir. No, you are not. But I bet if I threw a little treat in the air, you'd.
Yeah, I would get after it, no
He's
problem.
Like, I'll be on it.
What is the puppy aptitude test? Oh, more importantly, let's talk about that. But can people just come to you and say, hey, can we do this test?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, so you have hopefully I'll handle this correctly. You have something on your website that at some points, like some parts of it are interesting to me, and other points I have an issue with. It's called Turnkey Puppies.
Yes.
And so part of that, like, I love the idea, like the way that you worded it was great. You know that you want an animal in your life, you want a companion, but you're realistic enough to know, like, hey, this is my lifestyle. And so the cute puppiness thing wears off really quickly when you try to figure out how that puppy's going to fit into your life. Mm-hmm. So I guess the question that I have is, do you want to tell us a little bit more about that? But also, like, how do you disqualify somebody that, like, hey, you're really just not ready for a dog? Like, if you can't handle some of these responsibilities and commit this time to the animal, you're not really ready.
That's a great question. So when it comes to my turnkey program, these are dogs that are already purchased by the person coming to bring their puppy to me for training.
Right.
So I don't really have any say in it. Now, can I say, yeah, I don't think you're the right client for me? Yeah, I can do that. I've never
had to. There you go.
Knock on some wood.
Yeah.
But I have had some people that
was wood.
That was wood. Thank you. I have had some people that I was like, oh, maybe a dog isn't the greatest thing, but I mean, I guess you have kids and they're alive, so I think it will.
Yeah. Right.
But people go and buy dogs and don't really always think about the responsibility
Definitely
behind
not.
it.
I mean, the whole "A Dog Is for Life, Not for Christmas" kind of this campaign, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, some people shouldn't have pets. They're just not ready at the time or responsible enough or whatever. I mean,
Well, that's why I'm such a big. That's why I'm such a big advocate
that's
of
why
shelter dogs. Yeah.
Shelters are. I mean, I'm not going to say they're full and be overly dramatic, but there's a lot of animals in shelters that are surrendered because, oh, I didn't think about this. I didn't think I'd have to clean up after this.
Yep.
Dog. You know.
Now, I will tell you one thing I have noticed is if people are going to invest a decent amount of money into the dog and into the training, the likelihood that they're not going to be a decent human being is like, we're talking 10 to 20,000 people are investing into the turnkey program.
Right.
Again, a decent chunk of money. So,
well, it's skin in the game, right?
Yeah.
It's not a nice. I don't think it's the best phrase to use in terms of living things, but the idea of you're investing time and energy, you're more likely to put up with things and stick with the program.
You're not going to throw your money away.
Yeah.
The money that you invested.
Like, unfortunately, when you go
it's a horrible way to say that.
Yeah.
When you go to a rescue, it's like, oh, maybe $100 for a dog. You haven't had to invest a lot into it.
Right.
So it's sometimes easier to then, I'm going to just take this dog back to the shelter because it was only $100 versus, okay, we've dropped like 20,000 into this puppy. We better keep moving.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Well, that makes me feel a little bit better about it. I was, like I said,
the reason most people do the turnkey is they just don't want to, they can't or don't want to have to wake up in the middle of the night. What a lot of people don't realize is when you get a puppy from 8 weeks to 12 weeks, you should be waking up every 2 hours. Right. And that dog should be going out every 2 hours, no matter what time of day it is.
Right.
And it, of course, progresses as they get older. And then usually by 4 to 5 months, then they're able to hold it through the full night. You're able to sleep. And that's usually what people are like, I can't handle that. Like
Yeah.
that getting up in the middle of the night.
Right.
I work a full-time job. I
Yeah.
want a dog, but I just can't. I
Right.
can't do that piece.
Right.
You help get the basics in, so when they're here, life is more manageable, and we can just keep rolling with
So
it.
how about this then? There's the what was it called again? The puppy
The
Puppy aptitude
puppy
test.
aptitude test.
test. What about the owner aptitude test? Before you get a dog, you get to sit down and you are asked these questions. Do you want to get up in the middle of the night? You know, I mean, I'm partly joking.
You feel like that should be part of the
That
process.
should
I
be
get it.
something that breeders should be doing. There should be like a lot of things in there,
Yeah.
but
Right.
their job is to like get puppies into homes sometimes, and so people are not always asking questions.
And
There
this-
should be, yes.
And the same thing for shelters. The shelters are trying to
Yeah.
at least give the dog or the
Yeah.
animal the opportunity.
No, and I mean, I don't know the exact process, but I know that you don't just walk into a shelter and point at a dog and take it home. You have to fill out paperwork.
You do have to fill out paperwork.
have to be
but you don't get an
responsible.
aptitude test.
No,
Yeah.
but maybe they should.
Some papers are incredibly minimal. Some
Yeah.
are not. Some rescues make you do like a full home evaluation
Right.
and like dog greetings. Others are like, oh, you want this dog? Sign this paper. Here you go.
Right. And it's just a really difficult situation, right? Because a dog in a home is better than a dog in a shelter. If
A
you
dog
put up too many
Maybe.
barriers, yes, well, that's the thing, right? Not every home. But if you put up too many barriers, maybe people don't try or don't take a dog home. And if there are not enough barriers, then like you said, people can, there's no skin in the game. There's no responsibility.
Yeah, listen. I hate the fact that we have, that we have to declare that some shelters are no-kill shelters, but there is euthanization of animals.
You can,
And
good for you.
Thank you.
Good for almost getting it right.
I did get it right.
Yeah, sort of.
So the idea that it's like, you're kind of taking that risk, and is it better to at least put the animal out there in a home that's looking for them than not?
I don't know.
And they get people, like to Alicia's point, people bring them back, more often than people would probably like to know, which sucks too, because now you're talking about some of that trauma that they felt, and why they might struggle as an opportunity to be a service dog. But anyway, I wanted to ask something.
I want to give a shout out to the people who do work in animal shelters,
Yes.
especially our regional ones.
Yes.
Second Chance and the Montrose one. No matter what
You're doing great work.
you
Thank
are
you.
really. It's a job that is tough to be around homeless animals a lot, and it's not
Yes.
something that we can all do.
So my dog, Coconut, as brilliant as she is, and I love you, Coconut.
Coconut can't hear you
I know.
or read lips.
She can read lips.
Yeah.
You are absolutely wrong. But she gets up to go out like regularly at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning every day.
Isn't that when you get up with your old man bladder
I
at
mean,
the same time?
listen,
Gotcha. Next.
I was going to say,
is there a
if
way to
you're getting-
untrain the behavior?
If you're getting up, you're going to have to untrain you to help untrain her. I think you might be that indicator of,
Well, she
it's time to get up and go potty.
So she doesn't sleep with me. She sleeps with Nicole.
That's what Nicole does, though. She'll nudge Coconut on the left and Dennis on the right. Go on, party time, and you both go out at 5 in the morning.
And then she spreads out like, yes.
Yes, that's
Okay,
pretty much.
but I guess your question is,
Can you untrain
yeah,
trained behavior?
To a point.
But I think you did answer it. Like, the issue is if I get up, or if one of us gets up to go to the bathroom at night or whatever, we've now like passed that on to the dog, and the dog's like, oh, it's time to get up and go do my business or whatnot.
Yep.
Okay, all right.
there you go. You got no chance, because
Okay.
as you get older, you'll just be up more and more frequently during the night.
Yeah. Why are you bringing up my prostate on a conversation about animals? I don't feel like that's fair or necessary.
You know this. I'm not trying to needle you as best I can.
Can we meet? Can we meet, Charlie?
Yeah, let's
we
do that. Yes.
Look at that.
Oh, turn around.
No, this way. There we go. Charlie.
What did they used to say? Never have kids or animals. Never
Yeah.
work in entertainment with kids
Yeah.
and animals.
Yeah. I'll say this categorically now. I'll work with animals over kids every time.
Every time.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. You said poodles are like really high energy, but I've met Charlie twice now, and he is the most chill guy I've ever met.
He is very chill, but he is also like super, super full of energy.
Yeah. When the time comes.
He is like
he gets the
best,
zoomies.
Yeah, and he's the best player. He has a great play. He loves to roughhouse with you. So like he'll run in and you just like throw him, and he loves it, and he brings the toy in. And he loves Tug. Tug is his favorite. He gets so ferocious, but a good ferocious, huh?
Tug of war.
You said he's a year old?
Yes, he's a year old.
He looks, he looks a little grizzled already. He's got that.
That's our tan points. We are a tri, so we have black, white, and tan.
Look at him.
Handsome man.
And a good boy.
Very good boy.
Good boy.
I saw a really funny thing recently. It was on social media. It was a cartoon, and it was a woman on a date with a dog. And the woman said, "I'm into bad boys," and the dog said, "I don't think this is going to work out."
I am not a bad boy.
That's pretty good. You don't usually get those moments, but that was a good one.
It was hilarious. I didn't write the cartoon, but
all right. So this is the point of the episode usually where we ask something along the lines of, Montrose or the region. What do you like? What do you want to see change?
What do you do when you're not with your
That's a great question.
all of the
your
dogs
menagerie? Your menagerie
menagerie. Now I'm impressed.
Okay.
Good work. What do you do for you?
Yeah, that's great, because I take dogs everywhere I
Yeah.
go. Even my children are like, "Hey, Mom, can we go do something without
Out the
dogs
dogs.
this time?"
No, you're like, no, grab 2 dogs each. Let's go.
Yeah, basically, we're going for a hike. Yeah, the dogs are going. We're going camping. 20 dogs are going with us. That's just life.
But that's some self-preservation mode too. Like if you're going camping out here, it's good to have dogs out there with you while you're camping.
No, so truthfully, what I do for me, and I know this is no, it doesn't seem like me. I have my own dog that I am learning a whole nother set of skills with that I am not utilizing in any training for anybody else. It's me and hers training. It's me and hers learning. And I don't want to train and share that with people. So that for me is kind of my big thing right now, is taking skills that I don't have to share and I keep to myself.
But what else how else do you enjoy the area we live? Do you kayak? Do you mountain bike?
Do you paddleboard, right?
I paddleboard,
Yeah.
and I paddleboard with dogs. I hike, I camp, and I do that with dogs. So yeah.
All right. The challenge is, what don't you do with the? When was the last time you did something for yourself that didn't have a dog? And why would you?
I go to church.
Okay.
And that's what me and my kids do. We go to church without dogs.
All right.
No, actually, I do travel.
If the church would let you bring the dogs, would you bring the dogs?
So technically, I can.
Oh, right, because they're service
will
dogs.
let me.
Right.
But that is the moments that I'm like, okay, no paying attention to the dog.
Right.
You're not abusing your ability.
No.
Good for you.
Nope.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm like, okay, this
Setting
is
the example for people out there, like, hey,
Right.
yeah, and that is my moment, me and God's time together. So I'm like, yep, this is where we're gonna do it.
All right. Yeah.
Well,
No dogs.
I appreciate you coming on the show. Thanks.
much so,
What else do you want? What do you want to let people know
What do you
about
got coming up?
Loyal
You got
Guardians? Yeah.
Events, website.
Yeah.
Where can people find more information?
So right now you can find us on Facebook and Instagram. We're going to be working on getting more things going here soon. It's just finding volunteers. So if you'd like to volunteer and you're good at techie things, I'm overwhelmed by the tech stuff. So volunteers are greatly appreciated.
You can't train a dog to do that.
No, unfortunately, they are not that.
It's the opposable
intelligent.
thumb thing, right? They don't.
There was a post on Keep It Local Montrose where somebody was looking to grow their portfolio and they were offering some free web skills.
Yeah. If you're out there.
Yeah.
If
Check
you're
it.
out there, please contact.
What's the actual what do people have to type on Facebook to get?
Just Loyal Guardians Service Dog Training. It's
Okay.
a lot, I know.
All right.
But you can find us, like I said, Facebook and Instagram. For the community, I would love to just see more dog things for everybody. We just created a dog club for the Western Slope called Western Slope Canine Community. And it's not the letter K and the number 9. It's actually canine spelled out.
Yeah.
go on Facebook, find that group if you're on Facebook. We are trying to just get more fun things. Like totally, I would do the dock diving thing.
Yeah, I was about to say that's how you get a dock diving event is you have to have a canine community or you have to have a club.
So we are working on trying to build a club for specifically Montrose. It's for the whole of Western Slope. But again, really for Montrose, our board members are here in Montrose. So being able to get more people actively involved in dog things helps us do more dog things and create more dog things.
Yep.
We should. Rob is anti Grand Junction. I'm not anti Grand Junction.
I'm not. I just don't think it's as good as Montrose.
Well, okay.
That's fair.
So we need to figure out who the group is that puts it on in Grand Junction and see if we can support like a second event.
So I know who the group is. It was the AKC club, but they just dismembered.
Oh,
so now there is not even going to be an AKC show anymore.
So you're saying there's an opportunity.
Yeah.
So you're saying there's a chance.
There's a chance we could get it maybe if we can get enough participants.
Yes.
All right.
We can figure that out.
Yeah, I think we can.
Yeah. All right. Well, it has been a show of phones. I guess these are important people. Everybody wants somebody to get in touch with somebody.
Definitely not. Suspected spam. I do not want an extended warranty. Thank you.
All right. Well, Aleisha, thank you for joining us. Charlie, thank you for joining us. Go check out Loyal Guardians. Did I get that right? Loyal Guardians.
Loyal Guardians.
What was the whole thing? See, I've already messed it up.
Loyal Guardians service dog training.
Okay, there we go. Here, hold on. Let me look at the camera and give it the spot. Make sure you go check out Loyal Guardians service dog training.
Yep.
Okay.
You got it.
Got it.
I almost missed it. Woof.
And before we go, just want to give another shout out to Clear Networks.
Clear Networks.
It really helped move us along.
You know where you can go watch. You know how you can watch dog training videos?
Yeah, got to have a reliable internet connection.
That's right, from Clear Networks.
Rubbish.
Yeah.
So if you
you do Zoom trainings as well, or Zoom updates and stuff like that.
And through Covenant Keepers, we have online courses too.
There you go.
So if you can't make the group ones, we have an online one.
And
so get yourself a Clear Networks connection.
It's got to be crystal clear.
Yeah.
If it's got to be crystal clear.
It's got to be Clear Networks.
Oof, you can keep that one.
Yeah, there's a freebie that came along with it.
That's good. I like that.
Okay, stop patting yourself on the back.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much. You guys have a great night. We'll talk to you soon.